and welcome to the very first episode of the Studio 78 podcast. Hopefully, you have already listened to the intro episode to learn a little bit about what this podcast is all about. I have an amazing guest on here today. It is my very best friend that I've known since, I think since high school. Anywho, her name is Astral Riles. I'll have a link to her in my show notes, but she is a fiber artist and she also does some interior decorating. I mentioned her on the intro episode that we both do the Can I Park Here podcast together. She's my co-host, but I've asked her to come on to the Studio 78 podcast every once in a while just to talk shop with me because, we both have 9-to-5 jobs and we both work on our passions on nights and weekends. And even though what we do is different, we still sometimes have some of the same pain points. So I'd love for you guys to kind of be privy to some of those discussions that we have at times about certain topics. And she's agreed to come on here and kind of vent or brainstorm and all that other good stuff with me. In this episode today, I am just having her talk a little bit about what she does and why she loves doing it, just to introduce her to you guys and maybe give some tips and so forth. So I think you guys will really enjoy hearing from her. But before I play the discussion I have with her, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on what I am doing and maybe help you guys if you all are actually trying to start a website, blog, or whatever. So as you know, I just started NacheSnow.com. That's NacheSnow. Actually, as of this recording, I haven't told the public about it. I haven't done anything to market it. I haven't put it on Facebook or, told existing audiences about it, but it is out there for people to see. It is live. And I really only sent it to my friends and just asked them hey, tear it up. Let me know if my contact form works. Let me know if the page loads okay. Try to subscribe to my email list. Do you see any misspellings? Does it make sense? Can you easily get to the navigation? Does it look good on your phone? Does it look good when you go to your desktop? And, this is kind of what I call the soft launch. I'm just making sure everything is good to go. And I was forced to but I was forced to publish my site early because iTunes had an early deadline, December 12th, to get your podcast published within the next few weeks. So I was even though my website wasn't ready, December 12th, I'm I have to go live. And, it didn't matter because no one knew that it was out there. So it's not hundreds of thousands of people are going to see an incomplete site. But anywho, I think I am at a good point right now. The site is, I feel looking good. People have made great suggestions. I have somebody looking over the content just to make sure there isn't anything too wonky, spelling errors or something that's completely grammatically incorrect or something doesn't make sense. So luckily, a website is a living document. So as, people see things and as, my friend looks my stuff over, I'll just continue to make edits. And so what I have today for you is just two things that I want to pass along that I think will be helpful before I go into the interview with Astral. Two quick things. The first thing is if you can have actually I have three things. Okay. So the first thing is if you can have your friends and family look at your stuff before it goes live and test it out, do it. The second thing is I love working with a team. Yes, you can have a business by yourself, but I prefer having other people I can bounce ideas off of. I prefer to have other people to help me out and let me know where I need to course correct or if something doesn't make sense or if image should be different. Like, I like having multiple members of a team to like help keep me straight. So if you can get that, either free labor or paid labor, whatever, because sometimes free labor could come from like a mom, a spouse, or a really, really good friend, or even, affordable paid labor because you're probably not making money yet, but from somebody too, that's great. But having that team is amazing. And the third thing that I wanted to mention is as I'm getting the website together, like I'm working on like last minute edits, but I'm also working on things like making sure my email subscription form is good because I decided to use ConvertKit instead of MailChimp, and I've never used ConvertKit. So it's kind of a little bit of a learning curve for me. So I want to make sure I set it up right. It works. I set up these funnels and newsletters and all that good stuff. So definitely head over to nachesnow.com so you can start getting emails from me and give me feedback on those emails if they're helpful or not, or if you want to see anything in particular. And then other miscellaneous things like I signed up for Google Analytics for this particular site and also signed up for the Google Webmaster account just so I can have a good understanding of who's coming to my site and see if there's growth or not. I installed, because I'm using WordPress, the Yoast SEO plugin to make sure that my website is search engine optimized, which really just means that my content is easily kind of digestible, if you will, by Google. So Google kind of sees what I want it to see, and then it will rank me high in what I want it to rank me high in. And so it's just like those little things that are important, but they're little, but they're extremely important. So just remember as you're setting up your website to just keep those things in mind, because you need to collect email, you need to collect your analytics, and you need to make sure that your website is search engine optimized. So just for those out there looking to get into this, I just wanted to pass that on. For those of you who just want to hear cool, inspirational stories, I will go on with the show. Here's my friend Astral. Let's get started. Hello, listeners. I have my good friend Astral on here from astralriles.com. She makes fiber art. I mentioned in the very first episode, or the intro episode, that we also do a podcast together, the Can I Park Here podcast, interviewing fashion trucks. But I'm going to con might be the wrong word, but strong arm her into doing like some episodes with me on the Studio 78 podcast too. So she's in my virtual studio today.
Virtual studio, huh?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. You like it? But I think that you guys will, number one, I think I need to put this out there to folks who haven't listened to us before. We've known each other for a very long time, like 20 years. So that's kind of aging us just a little bit. We first met like early years of high school. So I think even though I met her freshman year, I didn't start becoming her friend to maybe sophomore year because she was kind of mean.
Wow.
So,
The stories you tell.
As we talk about certain topics, if it sounds like we're being mean to each other, that's just how we talk to each other. So don't feel bad for either one of us. But what I wanted to talk to you today about, Astral, because I didn't give Astral even a heads up. We just actually finished recording another podcast, and I was like, hey, I might as well record an episode with you. But what I want to talk to you about in this episode is about how to stay motivated with like a side hustle when you have a full-time job.
Ooh, that's probably the wrong question for me.
But you have stayed motivated.
I think that Really, to be honest, right now, the only thing that's motivating me is the money. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
is what motivates most people. But it's kind of hard, like as I'm dealing with the depression issue. So that plays a big role in whether or not I feel like doing things or want to do things. But um
So I
you
feel
are
like
motivated for me sometimes. Sometimes.
sometimes.
Yes. So you kind of push me to do what I need to do, but other than that, it's the money. It's like
Mm.
I want that money, so I'm going to do what I need to do to get that money.
I feel like you dropped a heavy word there, depression. And I feel like I'm hearing that a lot everywhere, which is good and bad. It's good because people are talking about it, but sometimes it's bad because I think even people who don't have depression think they're depressed, if that makes sense. And so let me know if you even want to get into it today, but should you tell your story first? Like what all this, just so people can get to know you, kind of some of your endeavors over the last couple of years, and then how depression has played into that?
How much stuff are you trying to cram into one episode?
Give us the highlights. But
Um,
I just want people to at least know who you are, even though we might dig into these topics a little bit more in later episodes. I think for the listeners out there that haven't heard of you before and know anything about you, let me start with the most basic question. Who are you and what have you been doing?
Thank you for the lead. Um, my name is Astral Riles. I am an interior designer. I'm a blogger, a DIY home blogger. I am a fiber artist. I have several side hustles that take up a lot of my time, in addition to a full time job. So I do all of those things. I am the co host of the Can I Park Here podcast with my very good friend Nache. And hmm, that is about it. No kids. So all of my time goes to the side hustles.
So, can you talk a little bit about like where you started and then how you slowly transitioned? Because a couple years ago, Astro was primarily focusing on like kind of interior decorating and then kind of made a little bit of transition. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why you decided to do that?
Well, initially, how I got into the fiber art is it started as just a hobby. I started making things just to see if I could do it. And then I taught myself how to do it, and I started making things for myself. And I made so many things that, people started suggesting to me, hey, why don't you sell those? And that's what I did. I opened up an Etsy shop just to see, how that would go. And people started buying the things. So I'm like, okay, maybe this could be, a good money maker for me. But it took so much time that the interior decorating or the interior design, it kind of took a back seat to everything else. I can't put 100% into all of these, endeavors and be successful with all of them. I have to kind of prioritize. So I decided to have the fiber art be a priority.
Now, okay. And so since then, how has business been and what have you done to kind of put yourself out there?
Well, business is so so. And when I say so so, I don't mean it's not bad. I would like it to be better. This year, I've made about, hmm, it's about $5,000 in sales for this year, which I think is pretty good for just being an online business. I've only had one interior design job this year. So I'm actually currently doing that right now. And it'll probably be over by the end of the month. Nache, I really forgot the question.
People, this is what I deal with. I feel like I need to keep this part in here.
I forgot
I
the
just
question.
was
I was trying to
asking.
think about how much money I made this year with the fiber art, and then everything else just kind of went out the window. It's about the money, people. The money, it takes over my mind.
I was just asking, how has business been, and what have you done to put yourself out there?
Oh, right. Right. Okay. So, with my fiber art, I have been contacting local businesses that sell home decor and accessories, and I either go to the shops or contact them via email and ask them if they if they buy wholesale or do consignment, and if they'd be interested in selling my products at their store. So I've gotten a lot of feedback from that, and a couple of stores have bought wholesale from me. And I currently have my items on consignment at two stores in Chicago. So
Mm.
that's pretty good so far. I don't really like consignment that much, but I'll do it just to get my name out there.
Hmm.
As far as the interior design goes, I've reached out to quite a few online magazines and lifestyle websites like Apartment Therapy, Design Sponge, and The Glitter Guide. So actually, it turns out that all three of them responded back to me, and they wanted to feature me in their websites. And I was like, yay! So excited. So, um, as consequently, the one for the glitter guy, my cousin, she loved the article so much that she reached out to me. And when she bought her new house, and she wanted me to help her design it, I'm like, are you kidding me? You know me, I'm your relative. Article online for you to, want to work with me. I'm like, okay, I'll take that.
But
I'll
sometimes
take
it's so weird if people need to see that in order for them to believe that you're legitimate.
that. Yeah, I guess so. But that's what I've been doing, and it's things are starting to work out slowly but surely.
So, no, okay. So, thanks for explaining that, Astral. So, for you, those of you guys who don't know, I mean, we don't have to get into it really today. Like maybe a future episode, we could get into a little bit more. But know that Astral, on the Can I Park Here podcast, episode 11, did an episode that we titled Battling Anxiety and Depression While Trying to Build a Business. And so I definitely encourage you to go over there to learn a little bit more about like her thoughts and some things that she's had to go through. But I just thought I would bring that up since you mentioned it earlier in this podcast. So, so back to the original question about like staying motivated, right? You are dealing with some depression. You do get frustrated very easily.
Are you telling me or asking me?
I'm telling you. And people, she has like no patience. So, like, with all of that, how do you stay motivated? Like, I'm assuming you still want to do this next year. Like, do you have any goals? Are you trying to make X amount of dollars? Like, how are you motivating yourself to like kind of move your or take your business to the next level in 2017?
I can't answer that.
Because you don't know
I
yet.
I don't know. I have
And
to take things day by day.
well, it's so weird, folks, because I think that sometimes we all lose steam. You know, some of us are better at like motivating ourselves than others, but we have to find tactics or people that'll help keep pushing us. So Estrella is right. Like like harass her on a weekly basis. And even when she gets discouraged, because we both do events, but she does a lot more than I do. If she has a good or bad event, I'm there to be like her cheerleader, even when she's complaining. And sometimes you need that.
Yeah. Like I just had an event a couple weeks ago and it sucked so much. Like I didn't make any money. Like the booth fee that I paid, I didn't even make that back. So it was very, very harsh. And I wanted to cry, but Nache, she gave me her, corny good words and trying to make me feel better. But hey, it is what it
But
is.
sometimes people don't want to hear that. So I know some of y'all are rolling your eyes, but it's kind of like the glass half full, right? Because that it comes back to mindset. So as I was talking to Estra, I'm like, okay, yes, you've paid all this money, you've made all this product, and you didn't really sell as many as you wanted to. But you know what? Now you have all this product that's already pre-made that you could just push for the holiday season, and you don't even have to worry about making anything unless you take on some custom pieces. And you could just solely focus on marketing it, and then maybe you'll, sell everything, just see what happens. So all you can do is like focus on like the future and kind of what you could sort of control.
I feel
Um,
like though that my sales might be better if you go ahead and actually build that Shopify site for me. That might help.
wow. Wow.
It might. And see
Yeah.
here, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna say do it yourself.
You could do a Shopify site yourself.
But I
Okay.
would like the branding expert to do it for me.
But that's the thing. I can lead you and help you get there.
Nah.
These lazy people.
Right.
It's so lazy.
No, it's not laziness. I just feel more confident if I knew that, your hands were behind it.
My mind will be behind it. My
No,
mind
no,
motivating
no,
you.
no, no.
Okay. I know like you're struggling being motivated right now, but the thing about it is you're still making stuff and you're still selling. So something is motivating you. So if we could just in this episode with a few tips for people, like even when they're down in the dumps, even when their idea isn't coming off the ground or their product isn't selling, like some things that they could do just to kind of push forward. I'll kick it off. I think like the first thing that you can do is reflect on what's gone right, especially over the past year before 2016 ends. Like instead of always focusing on the negative, like write down like what your wins were, landing that show, making that sale, selling that idea to somebody, whatever it is, because we're talking to folks that have product based business, service based businesses, you name it. And so write down those things. It might sound cheesy, but you might be surprised by your list and the things that you've accomplished. And that might help motivate you to continue.
I'd say whatever works for you, keep doing it. If you might be inclined to whatever your business is, if you make products, you might be inclined to continually make new stuff, new collections. But if there is something that sells more than others, or if you're doing something that works well than other things, just keep doing that. Keep making more of what's selling
Mm.
in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
because why get rid of it? You're in
Mm-hmm.
the business to make money. You're in the business to get popular, have people know you. Keep doing what's working.
I
Like
like that.
you asked me what motivates me, and you notice that I keep making things. Well, there are certain things that sell, on a regular basis. They sell over and over again. I'm like, well, why do people keep buying this one? And
Mm-hmm.
I keep making it. I keep making it
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over again.
I would say another thing that people should do, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but surround yourself with positive people or people who are moving in the same direction. Because if you surround yourself with people who don't do anything, they're not trying to do anything but sit around, watch TV all day, and just eat, um, that was random, wasn't it? But like, wait a minute, am I talking about myself? But seriously, like, if you just surround yourself with people who aren't trying to like get to that next level or to be creative or whatever it might be, then you're going to find yourself doing the same thing. And so, not to say the things that I mentioned are bad, because Astral and I love shows. Like, we look at a ridiculous amount of shows. Like, we should have a show about all the shows we look at. And we love movies. And I know at least I love to go out to eat. Like, I go out to eat to dinner, like probably way too much, but we balance it, right? Because we know there are other things that we want to do. So we figure out when we should cut those things out and focus on what we're trying to do. And so I think when you have other people that understand that and other people that are positive influences and you guys are like pushing each other, that also helps like motivate you to get to that next level.
Well said, Nache.
Why, thank you. I mean, yeah. Did you have anything else?
No, no.
Yeah, I think those are three good things, right? Like to start with. I hope you guys found this a little helpful, because what you should know is like Estrella and I, we are very raw. We're going to tell you like it is. We'll tell you numbers like it is. We're not ever trying to pretend like we are more than we are, or we're doing more than what we're doing, or we know more than what we know. We know what we know, and we'll share that information with you and be as candid as possible so you can have realistic expectations about whatever. So, Estrel, thank you for coming on, and I look forward to having you on future episodes.
And I look forward to being back.
Well, that's a wrap, folks. I really hope you guys liked this discussion between Estrel and I. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at Nache Snow, or on the website. If you go to the website and just type in motivation, her episode will come up, or just type in Estrel, or just type in number 1001, and her episode will come up, and you can leave me a comment under the show notes. And if you want us to have an episode specifically about working with depression, please like shoot me a note, and I'll make sure that we discuss that in a future episode, because I know her other episode was really helpful to a lot of people. Anyway, if you could do me a big, big favor, if you could head on over to iTunes and please rate me. If you are on your phone, literally, you just have to open up the podcast app. You type in Studio 78. My podcast will pop right up. You click on the Studio 78 thumbnail. When you do that, you'll see 3 tabs: details, reviews, and related. If you click on reviews, you can just click on write a review, and I would really appreciate that really, really a lot, because that will help my show get noticed. And of course, if you give me 5 stars, it would be even better. But thank you for listening to the very first episode of Studio 78. And definitely check out the next episode. I have an artist coming on, and her story is pretty amazing too. Take care and have a wonderful day, afternoon, or night. Until next time.